What's going on, everybody? So, I hope you all enjoyed that intro. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be diving into the world of hacking. The world of hacking is a mysterious and often misunderstood one. Today, we're going to dive deep into the minds, motivations, and methods of hackers. From the virtuous white hats to the shadowy black hats, and everything in between. You'll learn about the types of hackers, their subcultures, the myths that surround them, and how to protect yourself from becoming their next target. Hackers aren't what you think. Hackers aren't just single types of villains hiding in basements. They're as varied as the tools they use. Let's break them down. So, when you think of a hacker, you're probably thinking, oh, just someone who hacks devices, someone who's a cyber criminal, but there's so much more to that. Some of the different types of hackers include white hats. They're the good guys. These ethical hackers are hired by companies to find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do. Think of them as the cyber equivalent of security consultants, or cyber police. Next, we've got the mythical and mysterious black hats. They're the bad guys. These hackers exploit systems for personal gain or malicious intent, such as stealing data, deploying ransomware, or causing chaos. We're going to break them down quite a bit. Next, we've got gray hats. They're the vigilantes. They operate in the morally ambiguous middle ground, hacking into systems without permission, but often exposing flaws to improve security. They don't align themselves with good or bad, but they don't necessarily care about the legal implications of what they're doing. Next, we have red hats. Now, red hats are something I'm very familiar with. As some of you might know, I actually identify as a red hat. We're going to break them down next. A red hat, think of them as black hat hunters. Their target is malicious hackers, often using the same methods to fight fire with fire. Now, what sets a red hat apart from all other types is they want to stop these black hat hackers. They want to essentially prevent them from doing any more malicious crime, and they will use all their technical expertise to do so. Next, we've got green hats. These are the newcomers. These particular hackers are just very eager novices who just want to begin their journey, often experimenting without fully understanding the consequences, but they just want to learn. They're in the game to learn, they're new, they're fresh, they're right out of the bucket, they haven't aligned themselves with a hat yet, they're here to learn. Next, we have another type of hacker, and these hackers, well, it's actually kind of funny. They're called script kiddies. But in the hacking community, they actually have a sort of slang name. We, in the hacker community, actually shorten script kiddie to skid. Think of it like saying like a derogatory term towards them. The reason why they have a derogatory term and not many others do is because they're not true hackers, by any sense of the word. They're amateurs. They use pre-made tools and scripts without fully understanding what they do, sort of like green hats. However, they're often causing more annoyance than serious harm. So, the thing is with script kiddies, they want the power. They want the acknowledgement, but they don't want to put in the effort to actually get it. So they're just going to take tools off actual hackers, or even just buy tools from actual hackers, and they're going to use that to pretend to be hackers. And that's why they're so very hated, because for the hackers like me, and maybe some of you, who actually put in the effort and time and just refine our skills as much as we do, it can be very annoying when someone just comes up and just decides they're just going to try to take the spotlight, because they don't deserve it, they haven't earned it yet. Now, we've gone over the different types of hackers, but let's go over the lesser-known variants of hackers. Because, honestly, that's just the beginning, what we just listed. So, there's specialized hackers who focus on very particular goals. Let's talk about some of them now. Some of them go by crackers. Now, I'm not talking about the derogatory term cracker. No. In this case, what a cracker is they're experts in breaking into accounts or cracking software protections. What that means is they're very big on cracking into stuff and just getting it for free. Or just cracking into your account, cracking your password. That's what they focus on. They're the ones bypassing your passwords or just, again, cracking pirated software. And that's where a lot of pirated software comes from. And some of them even have more nefarious goals and even take the pirated software that they've cracked and then provide backdoors into it, which they can then use to hack your systems. Now, some crackers do take offense to that because they enjoy their art, so they won't put any malicious code in the cracked software. But not everyone is so honorable, let's say that. Next, we've got carders. And what carders do? Carders, they're masters of credit card theft, often targeting places like gas stations with skimmers or fake card readers. Now, the reason why they're important is because they're the ones you might run into on just an average every day. You know, you might just be going out trying to go and get some gas for your car, and you place your credit card in, and then, what? You just got a charge for $200 on Amazon, but you didn't make that charge? Well, sorry, but you fell victim to a carder. What they did was they put what we just mentioned, a skimmer or a card reader, over the card reader at the gas pump. Now, the reason why that's very bad is because you wouldn't even notice. That's why if you're ever at those gas pumps, where you place your card in, give it a little tug, feel around it. If nothing happens, you're good to go. But if something comes off, you might want to contact the local authorities. Next, we've got another subcategory called booters. Now, what is a booter? Booters are interesting. They're a part of the DDoSing community, or the distributed denial of service community. They specialize in overwhelming systems with traffic to knock them offline. Of course, that's one of many ways that they accomplish their goals, but essentially their goal is to send traffic to a system and shut it down. You're very likely to run into these, especially if you have a favorite website, and let's say that website goes offline. Well, that website just fell victim to a DDoSer, or a booter. Now, let's talk about some of the myths that you might have come across. So, before I mentioned how when you think of a hacker, you might just think, oh, it's a malicious cybercriminal. But that's not always the case. Now, let's break up some of the myths. One of the myths that I've got here is people think red rooms exist. Now, if you're not familiar with a red room is supposedly rooms where hackers go and murder the victims in the rooms. Now, these red rooms are called that because they're supposed to be rooms that these hackers stream this. Now, that is just not the case. So, you might have heard, oh, if you go on the deep web, you're going to see one of these red rooms. No. No. That's just, it's a myth, it's lore, it's one of those things that just, it's folklore, essentially. The internet's full of many myths about hackers, and that myth is just debunked. There's no credibility to it, and nothing to back it. Well, the deep web is home to a lot of illegal activity. Much of it is simply unindexed content like privacy companies, databases, or personal files. Red rooms, they're nothing more than just a simple horror story. Next, we're going to get on to some of my heroes. So, some of my heroes in the hacking community would be Kevin Mitnick. Kevin Mitnick is one of the FBI's most wanted computer hackers, and he turned his skills around to become a cybersecurity consultant. So he took what was a bad thing and essentially turned it into a good thing. Now, when it comes to Kevin Mitnick, he did a lot of funny things. Kevin Mitnick, one of the reasons why I love him is because he wasn't necessarily out for malicious gain as much as he was just to explore his talent. One of the things that he did was the time he hacked a McDonald's drive-thru speaker. Now, he did that just to prank people, and it was kind of funny. He waited for one of the managers to come out and check the speaker, And then when the manager got real up close and personal with the speaker, he screamed something in the manager's face. I forget what it was, but it made the manager essentially jump back. And just funny stuff like that. He took his talent and used it for practical jokes, a bit of tomfoolery, and then eventually turned his life around to become a cybersecurity consultant. That is one of my biggest heroes in the cybersecurity community. And now, let's get on to the hacking subcultures. Even hackers have communities. These are forums for everything from exchanging exploits to learning how to build malware. Specifically, subcultures like booting communities exist solely for organizing DDoS attacks or just to flex on other booters in the community to be like, oh, I did this big illegal act, but you didn't. It's kind of funny if you think about it. A bunch of people flexing all the illegal acts they did, not knowing that an FBI agent could just be around the corner listening, but hey, just because you're a hacker doesn't mean you're always the smartest person of the bunch. Next, we're going to talk about how these groups range from chaotic to downright dangerous. For some, it's a gateway into legitimate cybersecurity careers. However, for others, it's a gateway into the criminal underworld, where they will eventually inevitably get caught by FBI or members of the local governments. Next, we're going to wrap up some stuff here. So, the world of hacking is vast, it's nuanced, and it's constantly evolving. Understanding the types of hackers and how they operate is the first step to staying safe. And remember, not all hackers wear black hats. Some of them are heroes protecting your digital life. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and remember, the best defense is knowledge. Finally, for the last part, we've gone over all the different types of hackers and the communities, but how can you stay safe from these hackers? You're going to meet them online, you're going to meet them in person, and you might not even know. It could be your next door neighbor, it could be a friend, it could be a colleague. Well, truth is, there's no way to actually stay 100% safe from hackers. With technology constantly evolving, so do hackers. However, there are a few keynotes. Some of the keynotes being, you can always keep your devices upgraded, always check your bank accounts, because a lot of people don't do that, and being able to act fast if your card does get hacked is very important. And also, just keep your information secure. If you haven't, go to sites like Have I Been Pwned, or sign up to Experian to see if your information is just out there on the public web. Because if it is, you're going to want to take action and take it down. There's a lot of stuff that might be out there that you might not even know about. And if you find out that your password has been hacked, you definitely want to change it. Never use the same password across multiple accounts, because at the end of the day, if a hacker breaks into one account, they're going to check that password and username across to many others, and if you have a bank account that shares that same exact login information, they're going to have full reign over your bank account. And you may think, oh, I'll just get two-step verification and that'll fix it. Hackers even have ways to bypass that with simple SIM swapping. You are never going to be 100% invulnerable, and that's why you want to limit access to as many accounts as possible by constantly keeping your information as varied as possible. Without further ado, I think I've covered everything in a very brief and constructive way, and I hope you all stay safe out there, young hackers and young fledglings.